About 3 months ago, I made a switch to macOS. I was Linux user for 5 years and Windows user for 8 plus years. Just like I never went back to Windows after using Linux, I don't think I can ever go back to Linux after using macOS. In this video, I'll share everything. Good, bad, who should use it and who should absolutely avoid it. Let's get into it. I've been using my old PC for over 5 years and I wanted to learn professional video editing and 3D designing. I mean, I could do simple 3D designing but with compromises. A simple 6-second render took me 15 hours. Can you imagine? 15 hours for a 6-second render. During that time, I couldn't do anything else. The render would crash. But most importantly, I had to learn video editing, but my older PC couldn't handle DaVinci Resolve. I edited few videos on that PC and it lagged like crazy. For a reference, I had Asus VivoBook 15 with 12 GB of RAM, Intel i5 10th Gen processor, 512 MB of GPU. I was rendering my 3D animations on 512 MB GPU. On top of that, the battery life was getting terrible. So I had to make a switch. It was nothing about Linux. It was just poor hardware and its compatibility with Linux. I wanted something with a decent build, great battery life, good performance, and something lightweight and portable, since I carry my laptop everywhere. That's why I decided to buy MacBook Air M4. And yes, I managed to buy it just before the memory crisis hit the market, so shout out to me, I guess. Now let me walk you through the experience of switching to macOS as a long-time Linux user. At first, macOS felt a bit annoying. I was so used to tweaking small things on Linux and macOS didn't let me do all of that. And then there's the whole control command situation. Command works like control and control works as, honestly, I still don't know. I use control in my keyboard shortcuts but almost nowhere else. And instead of a super key, there's an option key. It took me few days to get used to it. But once I did, it wasn't bad at all. Because the only thing I actually care about is getting things done. macOS does that with ease. And after that, nothing really mattered. As a Linux user, I really miss the terminal. I know macOS is also Unix based and it also have terminal like ZSH, but Bash is Bash. There's no competition here. I really miss apt, but Brew is also manageable even if it has fewer packages. You know, it's a typical Linux guy problem. So I started tweaking things, searching for what I could customize. I found out I could run commands on my Mac directly from the shortcuts app on my iPhone. That was all I needed. I started building shortcuts for everything. I can now turn off my Mac's display, control brightness, control volume, sleep my Mac, delay sleep, and control my music all from my iPhone. Pure seamless experience. Speaking of seamless, there are so many ecosystem perks if you own both iPhone and a Mac. You can set up your Mac in one click, and it transfers your iPhone data over with zero manual hassle. I never have to type a Wi-Fi password on my Mac. If it's entered on my iPhone, it syncs automatically between devices when they are close enough. It works both ways. Connect to Wi-Fi on your Mac and your iPhone connects automatically too. You can mirror your iPhone screen on your Mac in sharp quality. The feature I use most is turning my iPhone's camera into a webcam for my MacBook. My iPhone's storage always runs slow, so I shoot videos using my iPhone through my Mac instead. And the quality is crystal clear. No cables needed, it just connects. You can even use your iPhone's mic while shooting, which sounds way better than the built-in mic on your MacBook. I don't think I need to talk about the AirDrop. On top of that, I can control my iPhone directly from my Mac wirelessly, drag files between devices, copy something on my Mac and paste it on my iPhone, and vice versa, and even answer phone calls directly from my Mac. Yes, you can do a version of this on Linux and Windows with third-party apps. I've tried it many times, but it was annoying as hell, having to reconnect over and over. But with Apple, it just works. I wouldn't call myself a gamer, but I play now and then. Macs are not really known for gaming, but I was surprised by how well it handled. Sure, the game library isn't as big as Windows, but neither is Linux's library. The macOS gaming library is growing though, and you can use the emulator like Whiskey to run a Windows environment and play Windows games on Mac. And honestly, Windows games run smooth on my fanless MacBook Air M4. I play Far Cry 4 on it and it runs great, though it does heat up a fair bit. So I picked up a laptop stand with fans to keep it cool. Let me know if you want a dedicated video on gaming on macOS and how to install Windows games on Mac. For now, let's get into hardware and performance. Before external stuffs, let's talk about Apple Silicon, the heart of every Mac. The Apple Silicon chips use ARM architecture rather than x86. Simply put, ARM chips are most common in smartphones because they are far less power hungry, usually at the cost of performance. But Apple managed to build an ARM chip that runs a full PC and dominates in performance in a tiny form factor. They have a much better power to performance ratio, meaning they get the same work done using less power than x86 chips. Less power means less heat, and less heat means less cooling needed. That's why they are able to build this fanless beast that can outperform the similar spec Windows or Linux machine. To be fair, there are other ARM-based PCs now, like ones using Qualcomm's Snapdragon X Elite, but they are not optimized yet. That's because they run on a huge range of hardware configurations, which is really hard to optimize for. Apple has the unfair advantage here. Limited hardware, built almost entirely in-house, both software and silicon, so they can optimize the whole system top to bottom. Don't get me started on battery life. My Linux PC was so poorly optimized with such average hardware support that it barely lasted 1.5 hours before dying. The MacBook on the other hand is incredible. I can use it up to 10 hours roughly and still have 15 to 20% left. And sleep mode actually works on macOS. If I close the lid and open it 2 days later, I'm right back where I left off with 98% of battery still there. If you care about productivity, want your machine to just work, already own an iPhone, or want to try the Apple ecosystem, then macOS is really worth it. If you want full control of your system and love to say I use Ars by the way, then you should stick to Linux. And finally Windows. Don't use it. Just kidding. For serious gamers, no other OS comes close in game support and library size, so stick with Windows. And in a lot of offices, Windows is mandatory, so you are stuck with it either way. I don't regret switching Linux to macOS at all. So if you are thinking about it, 30 days ago was the best time to buy Apple devices because the prices just went up. I bought an appreciating asset, what the hell. Jokes aside, if you are considering macOS, then it's really worth it. Give it a try. Linux users, I know you are typing an essay right now, so go ahead. Subscribe if you enjoyed this one and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.